And we really are getting another episode of this show before GTA 6.
The world is on fire. GTA 6 is still not out, and we're releasing a new episode based on one of the worst superhero shows we've ever seen.
Yup.
Anyways, hello everyone. We are back with Untitled Marvel podcast
After a long time.
after a long time and a lot of dumb things happening in the world.
Yeah.
I kind of want to open this by saying, any of our fans who are listening who are queer, who are POC, who are in any way threatened by the new administration, we support you. We're going to get through this together.
Well said.
Anyways, we're here to talk about Spider-Man 2017, one of the worst pieces of media we've consumed.
Pretty much. Late 2010s Marvel, you have the worst fucking cartoons.
Okay, so what was everyone's exposure to Spider-Man 2017 before we did this particular watch?
Okay, so I remember hearing about... Okay, I'll explain this later when we talk about the shows, how the show was announced, but I was first hyped for it after Ultimate. But then I saw how the show looked, and I heard it was bad, and I decided, nah, I'm not gonna watch this. Then 2020 came, and I don't know why, but I decided to watch all of it.
I mean, there was a lot of there was not much going on in 2020, so
Yeah, that was my argument.
yeah. A lot of us made mistakes. I think that was around that time me and a friend watched all of Rosario plus Vampire.
Oh, I think I heard of this anime before.
Let's not dwell on that. My main exposure to Spider-Man 2017 was just knowing about a few of the show's bad designs, and beyond that, I basically knew nothing about it. I just kind of knew it was the Spider-Man show with Robbie Damon in it with a really low budget art style. What about you, Fool?
Hey everyone, it's me, Fool, again. Everyone's favorite guest, because I'm the only guest that they've had so far. Anyway, my exposure with Spider-Man 2017 goes a little something like this. And that's it.
Okay, so you went in completely blind.
Yes, I didn't even know this thing existed until, last year. I was going to say this year, but unfortunately we made the cutoff right at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, we started watching it around summer of last year, I think.
We had to do it in chunks because it was that painful and because we had to schedule it.
Yeah, and
during
also this show is from the ancient past of era of television shows having more than 8 episodes. Can you believe that was a thing that happened?
I partially believe this show was part of why Disney stopped that.
I mean, it's that and the focus on streaming, because streaming makes it harder to make original shows to be have more than 10 episodes, even animated ones.
I don't know what's going on with that Wizards of Waverly Place sequel. I wonder what that episode count looks like, but we're not here to talk about that.
Yeah, we're here to talk about abysmal dog shit.
Okay, so Spider-Man 2017, let's Bernardo, why don't you start us on how this show was announced?
Okay, it was first announced right before the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon ended, and I want y'all to pay attention of how it was worded. It was announced as a Back to Basics TV show for Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
Foreshadowing is a literary device.
Yeah, I want to pull up an article from back when the show was announced.
God. Back to basics, more like back to bullshit.
Literally. See, the problem with this show is that it has the same name as the Insomnia game.
Yes, so we have to clarify, this is Marvel Spider-Man the show, not Marvel Spider-Man the PS4 game. And I guess PS5 game and PC game.
Yeah, Marvel Spider-Man came out in 2018, so from now on we're going to refer to this as Spider-Man 2017.
Okay, so originally the show, even though it was announced as a Back to Basics show, we had concept promotional art that was like leaked before the show came out, and it showed Miles and Spider-Gwen.
I mean, yeah, they hadn't really gotten the chance to do Gwen in Ultimate Spider-Man, and Miles was only in there for the multiverse crossover, so it made sense to
Actually,
capitalize
Gwen
on them.
showed up in Spider-Gwen in the Ultimate Spider-Man second Spider-Verse crossover.
Oh, right, she did. But yeah, okay, yeah. They were previously in the Spider-Verse crossovers and weren't in the main show, so I assume they wanted to capitalize on their popularity by putting them in the same universe.
Yeah, pretty much. The show did something that I thought was cool, at least, where before the show itself premiered, they did origin shorts that like basically showing Peter's origin via 6 YouTube shorts.
Oh, we're gonna get to those origin shorts eventually.
Yeah, and when I first saw, because I did watch them before the show premiered because I was interested in it, my impressions were this looks bad visually, but at least it's not Spider-Man's Family Guy like the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, which even though I liked originally as a kid, even I knew it wasn't as good as Spectacular back then.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all remember that time that they included a dead Gwen figure with a Carnage figure for Ultimate Spider-Man?
Oh,
Uh,
That was messed up.
all right. So, is there any other pre-release stuff you want to talk about for the show?
I am curious on one thing. Did Robbie Damon voice Peter in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite because of this show, or was it
Yes.
the other way around? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
actually, there
played
is
Peter.
one thing we need to talk about first when we get to the animation, which is the Patrick Brown art. You know, the promotional art.
Yeah, the promo art for this show looking way better than the actual show.
It's to a point where I genuinely feel like that Patrick Brown's art is intended to be like evergreen Spider-Man art. You know, like Transformers designs that are evergreen and like are always used regardless of what's the current like version that's going on.
I mean, yeah, it looks very evergreen, very like what you'd expect for Spider-Man and his supporting cast, so.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, prior to the role on this show, Damon's first outing as Spider-Man was in Marvel Disc Wars The Avengers in 2015.
I didn't know. I thought Disc Wars was 2017 actually.
And then he moved on to play Spider-Man in both the 2017 show and Infinite. But he also
Yeah.
played him in Marvel Powers United VR and one of the Lego Marvel specials, Marvel Future Avengers, and he has seemingly stopped playing the character since Future Avengers.
Which is a shame because he's a great voice actor, but damn it, they gave him the worst fucking scripts in this show.
At least he's not going on and on about how he's glad his show isn't woke.
Oh god, don't remind me.
God. But yeah, Damon. This wasn't Damon's first outing as Peter. He had played the character previously and played him a couple times after. This show also had one other big veteran voice for Peter at that point. No, for a character at that point. Najee Jeter played Miles Morales, actually doing so before Spider-Man 2018 came out.
Yeah. And his performance in the show is proof that it wasn't Robbie's fault because Najee sounds way worse in the show than in the Insomnia games.
Yeah, Najee has a much better direction in the Insomniac games. This was still his first outing as Miles, though, and almost certainly was being worked on around the same time as the Insomniac stuff, so yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Okay, so the origin shorts. They're still actually on YouTube, I'm pretty sure.
They were also compiled into the first actual episode of the series.
Yeah, in like Disney Plus and stuff. And I assume DVDs if they made DVDs of the show.
Yeah. They compiled it's episode 0 and it's called Origins, but it's all the origin shorts compiled together.
Oh, thank Christ, I thought we had to watch more.
Oh no, we don't. We're free.
Don't worry, we've already seen the origin stuff. Fool, I'm not sure if you knew this, but did you know that all of the origin shorts are named after parts of the scientific method?
Of fucking course.
It's a good time to get into the fact that Peter Parker in this version of Spider-Man is the biggest nerd emoji there has ever been.
Did you? Hey,
No,
hey, Bernardo Jackson. Did you know that Peter is smart?
God.
Did you know that?
Peter in this show is written like great value Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah. This Peter would do the sodium chloride thing.
He would.
He would
And the
word for
problem is
word
that the
say.
entire cast is nerd, so
I started to disassociate when great power comes great responsibility was turned into a math equation in this continuity.
yeah.
And I
No,
felt violently ill.
maybe Ben Parker did deserve to be shot actually.
God.
Kill them all, Peter.
Exactly.
But yeah, the origin is pretty basic outside of that. It's just Peter getting his powers, fighting Bonesaw, being unable to prevent Uncle Ben from dying, and learning the lesson.
Yeah.
Despite the dumb framing, it's not exactly super out there or a Spider-Man origin story.
Yeah, no, and honestly, that is the one thing that I prefer this show doing compared to like Friendly Neighborhood. I'm not too big on Ben dying before the origin. I get why they did that, and I understand it was probably has to do with the show originally being meant to tie into the MCU, but I'm not too
Yeah.
big on that.
It's just a weirdness situation. I kind of understand why it happened, but it's not ideal. Anyways, in this first episode, we are also introduced to someone who will soon become our mortal enemy.
Yes.
His name is Harry Osborn.
Or as I like to call him, Hardy's Osborn, which if you've seen the little promo
Teaser.
video, the promo teaser that Bernardo lovingly edited, that
Yes.
is actually my live reactions to every episode of Marvel Spider-Man, slowly
Yup.
devolving into how much I hate this show. But I don't want to spoil nothing yet.
But yeah, this first episode is pretty basic. We might as well do a quick overview of the voice cast for this first season, beyond Damon and Jeter, before we continue.
Sure. Let me just pull up on Google.
Anya Corazon is played by Melanie Minicino. Interestingly, you have heard her as either Cat Grant in My Adventures with Superman, or
Also a good superhero show.
or Alice Hiragi in Persona 5 Strikers.
Oh, I didn't know she was in Strikers. That's neat.
Yeah, she's the first boss in Strikers.
Okay, the only boss I beat. I need to get back. At this point, I listened to my re-release I gave before I actually beat it.
Gwen Stacy is Laura Bailey, who you've obviously heard before. If you've watched anything with Black Widow or Wonder Woman in it, there's a good chance it's her.
And in the context of Spider-Man, she's at Mary Jane in the Insomnia games.
Yeah,
If you
she's
think
also.
if you think you haven't heard her voice before, trust me, you have.
Harry Osborn, as already mentioned, is Max Middleman. Best known for his roles. Best known as his roles as Ryuji Sakamoto in Persona 5 and Saitama in One Punch Man. Also Red 13 in the Final Fantasy VII remake.
And in the context of other superhero shows, he's Lex Luthor in My Adventure with Superman.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Max Modell, who, if you have only a passive understanding of Spider-Man, you probably haven't heard of Max Modell. Let me just run this through. So after Peter and MJ's marriage was wiped from existence in a deal with the devil, the big era after that was called Beyond, and it was essentially
Big
Big
Time.
Time.
It was Big Time.
Big Time.
No, wait,
Big Time.
no. It was first Brand New Day and then Big Time.
Yeah, Brand New Day and Big Time. And during the Big Time era, Peter got a job at a science facility called Horizon Labs, which is run by this guy Max Modell. He is notable in the comics for being an openly gay man,
which is neat, and also he's the creator of the zapping system in the show.
We'll get to that later. But yeah, Modell is Modell. I don't know if Spider-Man 2017 ever actually confirms that he is gay in that universe. I hope it does.
Not to spoil it, but they don't. But in the final episode, he has his suit and tie, and the tie has a trans flag pride color. So like, I'm assuming that's as much Disney let them do let him be LGBT. Unfortunately,
Ah,
yeah, at least Nico in Friendly Neighborhood is like pretty much confirmed to be bisexual because
wait,
there's a joke
Modell
where
is in Friendly Neighborhood?
no Nico,
Oh, right, yeah.
Whoa,
Makes
he's
because
sense.
bisexual. I didn't know that.
yeah, she is. Her girlfriend is literally a rainbow.
Yeah, her girlfriend, when she learns to stop suppressing her when she learns to stop wearing her bracelet that suppresses her rainbow powers, she realizes she's into girls.
Oh,
This
so
is
she has
true.
an inhibitor ring, just like Shadow the Hedgehog.
Also, my bad. I thought we were talking about Max Modell.
We are still
Oh
talking.
yeah,
Max Modell is voiced by Fred Taschetor, who's another actor who you've almost certainly heard the voice of before.
primarily
Taschetor is
he's the voice of
Taschetor
the
is
Hulk.
yeah, he's best known for his role as Hulk in yes.
Pretty much everything.
If you hit a random project Hulk is in with a dart, it's probably him voicing the character. Yeah, he's just everywhere, including Marvel Rivals, the recently released one. So, and then just a few other minor ones to go through. Norman Osborn is Josh Keaton, who previously played Peter Parker in Spectacular Spider-Man.
And also, he's pretty much the current voice of Iron Man in a lot of stuff, including Rivals.
Yeah. Dr. Octopus is voiced by Scott Menville, best known for his role as Robin in the Teen Titans 2003 cartoon and Teen Titans Go.
Feature my booty up in 3D.
Then there's a few other characters who aren't really important enough to get into right now, but we might bring up their voice actor later. But that's our main cast, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the main guys that keep showing up throughout most of this series and the important people we're talking about here. All right, so we're finally moving on to the show itself.
Yup.
All right.
Okay, so episode 1. Let's see what I forgot what it was called.
Episode the first. Well, we're counting multiple. We're gonna go over multi-parters at the same time for the sake of it. Episodes 1 and
Yeah.
2 are Horizon High, which introduces this school's this show's main deviation from the normal Spider-Man mythos, and it's bad out of the gate. It's bad out of the gate.
You know, normally a show gets bad after it runs way too long. No, the show is just bad.
They make a fundamental Spider-Man mistake right out of the gate. It's genuinely impressive. So the main premise of this show is that Peter attends Horizon High, which is like a super high-tech school for geniuses.
Mm-hmm.
Miles, Anya, and Gwen are also all students there, and Harry was a student there, but we'll get into why he isn't one anymore in just a moment. Every major teenage character in this show is a super genius.
All of them.
If
It
you
No
think
is
exceptions.
if you think there's one that isn't, you're wrong.
the closest is like Flash Thompson, and he's not a main character at all. He just shows up every couple episodes.
And even then, he gets a smart moment in the Venom episode.
Yeah, but his is funny. Man, I kind of wish this show was actually set at Midtown because I do like this version of Flash quite a bit.
Midtown
Yeah.
is Midtown is essentially where the show should be set.
Yeah. But they just decided let's turn Horizon Labs into this big Horizon high school for geniuses. Oh, we forgot to mention Dr. Octopus is also like a teacher there. He's like a prodigy who is just a bit older than the main cast, but is a teacher because he's extra smart.
And he's a huge asshole about it.
I
Yeah,
hate
and
him.
important note, one of the main producers of this show is Dan Slott, and so that's why the show pulls a lot from his era of Spider-Man.
Horizon, Max Modell being a prominent character,
They
namely
focus on Otto.
the focus on Otto, villains like Screwball appearing.
It's and as someone who has read Dan Slott's Spider-Man stuff before, specifically a certain comic, which we'll get to you.
We'll get to that next time we review this series in 2027.
Please no. God, am I gonna have? Oh God, I'm gonna have to be there. I'm gonna have to be there and explain why I hate a certain arc so much.
Yes.
Let's just say It's superior,
Yeah.
but not in a good way.
But yeah, taking a lot from Slot's era. Anyways, this first episode destroys us by already giving this first proper episode destroys us by already giving us two amazing bits to work.
Anya Corazon, one of the
Anya
students at
Corazon,
Horizon.
if you're not aware, she's a Latinx Spider Girl who debuted in the comics in the early 2000s. Originally using the codename Aranya, then switching to Spider Girl during Slot's tenure on the title, and then switching back to Aranya.
Yeah, I'm sure she's a neat character. One issue that
In the
show
comics,
does.
in the comics, she's a Kamen Rider.
Oh, that's base. The
Yeah,
problem is that
the different.
in this show, she's a colonizer because she wants to make synthetic vibranium.
I'll explain the Kamen Rider thing for. Oh yeah, I'll explain the Kamen Rider thing first, and then that. In the comics, Anya's powers are actually not based on the usual spider totem, or not based on they're technically spider totem, but they're not based on the scientific experiment gone wrong thing. It's literally magic. She's powered by spider magic.
Magic, like from Marvel Rivals.
And that spider magic allows her to create an armored spider suit around her that looks like Kamen Rider Amazon.
As for the colonizer bit, it's a joke that we made because she in the show one of her projects is synthetic vibranium.
The first project we're introduced to for her is creating synthetic vibranium. So from there, we just decided the joke of her really hating Wakanda.
Yeah.
Because, why else would you try to synthetically produce vibranium, which is that country's entire export system? I posted Amazon Anya in the chat if anyone wants to look at it.
Oh yeah, I saw it. That goes hard.
Yeah, it is cool. I own her original run. I should get around to reading it.
Well, that's nice.
There's a lot of bits in this show that gave us too much ammo.
The other big bit was that Max Modell looks way too much like Pat Stares At from formerly Super Best Friends.
Yeah, he's just fat, and one of the bits Pat has is about the zapping system from Resident Evil 2. So we just concluded that this version of Max has a zapping system too.
No, we concluded specifically that this version of Max first got famous and got to found Horizon because he invented the zapping system.
Yeah, right. And the best part is that, as we will see later, the zapping system is real.
It is real. But yeah, first episode is the Horizon High 2-parter. Peter fights the Vulture, gets enrolled in Horizon, but also a sabotage thing happens with the Smythes, the people who the father and son duo who make the Spider Slayers in the comics. That leads to Peter Harry getting essentially thrown out of Horizon because he's framed for it.
You're out, Harry.
And then in the meantime, Norman apparently decides to create his own school for geniuses to spite Horizon.
With blackjack and hookers.
We also concluded that the academy that Osborn makes is just an extended bit to homeschool Harry, and that there isn't any other students there.
God. We get introduced to, in part 2 of this, we get a fight with the Scorpion. Peter gets introduced to Miles and formally introduced to Anya. Peter develops his proper suit for the first time, fights a Spider Slayer, and Harry starts to think Spider-Man is a menace.
Yeah, but this only becomes really annoying later in the show.
Yeah. Then we immediately get into Osborn Academy, and we get introduced to the fact that this show, for some reason, really likes the Jackal.
AKA the Gooner, the Jerker.
For anyone who doesn't know, the Jackal was a supervillain first introduced in, I think, the 70s?
Yeah, I think it was the 70s.
Let me double check that. Jack's first created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko in... No, he was first appeared as Professor Miles Warren in 1965 by Stan Lee and Ditko, but he first made his debut as the Jackal in Amazing Spider-Man issue 129, written by Jerry Conway and drawn by Ross Andrew, which is incidentally also the first appearance of the Punisher.
Huh. If only Frank Castle was here to save us from the Gooner.
The Jackal is most infamous for being the main villain of the Clone Saga, an extremely long-running and convoluted Spider-Man storyline in the 90s that many fans tend to agree kind of derailed the character in a way that has still not been fixed.
Oh, if only it's a good thing that the show doesn't bring up anything about clones
Oh,
yet.
thank God, we don't have any clone stuff yet. Anyways, Jackal's motivation in this is not based on clones, but is instead based on building a spider army to take over New York, and the spider that bit Peter was his invention.
Because, okay, I guess.
Also, in a very perplexing move, they rename him from Miles Warren to Raymond Warren, which incidentally is funny because Raymond Warren is a completely separate teacher of Peter Parker that debuted back in the original Lee Ditko run.
They probably renamed him because this was the first thing that both had the Jackal and Miles Morales.
Yeah, and also he's Gwen's uncle for some reason. We'll let you know when Fool gets back.
Yeah, anyways, it's weird that they made Jackal Gwen's uncle because in the comics, Jackal's kind of weird with Gwen.
In the comics, Jackal is romantically obsessed with Gwen, and he's been this way since she was his student in college. So, yeah, not ideal. Not ideal at all. And I don't know why they thought this was a good way to implement him into this show's lore, because, like, you connect him to Gwen is just gonna make people find this really funny.
Yeah.
Like, he's tied to the character who, in the comics, he made, like, 15 clones of because he wanted to fuck her.
What happened to Shame?
Yeah, it's not ideal. But yeah, the Jackal is introduced in this episode as the new as not just an antagonist of this episode. The Jackal is essentially the main villain of this entire first season.
There's using underrated villains and giving them a proper focus, like the Spidey across the Spider-Verse. Then there's just this.
The Jackal is a character who had too much focus in the 90s, and every time he's come back, people groan.
Yup.
But yeah, Peter fights the Jackal. Gwen Stacy is introduced. We learn she's the Jackal's niece. Osborn opens up Oz Academy, which is a new school for geniuses. Speaking of plots,
Osborn Academy, like that. We already said this, but we joke that it's just an extended plan of Norman to homeschool Harry, and it's not an actual school.
Speaking of Osborn Academy, that thing where we said Dan Slott inserts a bunch of his characters in. He introduces a version of Clayton Cole, aka Clash, in this episode for some reason.
I remember him from I think it was like an alternating arc in the 28.
No, Clash first made his debut in the Amazing Spider-Man storyline, Learning to Crawl, which was essentially Dan Slott doing his Superman Birthright, New Superman origin, whatever kind of thing, but for Spider-Man, like it's a retelling of the origin.
Yeah.
With some new stuff. Clash is in this story meant to be like one of the first actual supervillain Peter fought, and a lot of people didn't like him because he's just a guy.
He's just a dude.
Yeah, and then he was a notable character in the Civil War tie-ins for this, so Civil War 2 tie-ins for this, so it certainly didn't help.
Damn.
And then looking at the Wikipedia summary for refresher, the end of this episode is listed as Parker and Harry agree at a cafe to never fight amongst themselves.
God, I wish that actually happened. Right.
Oh man. If it feels like we're moving too fast, don't worry, the show moves exactly this fast.
Yeah. It still have 26 episodes.
Yeah, it's speedy. We move on to the first half of the first bit of our symbiote arc, which is kind of slapdash spread across this season for some reason.
I think the Spectacular Spider-Man.
The symbiote is first introduced as the V252, a special substance that Max Motel is experimenting with. Reference to how the Venom symbiote first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issue 252, which we thought was kind of cute. This episode was the first one I remember feeling kind of liking because I liked how they do Black Cat in the episode.
Yeah, I've seen people like the usual suspects complain about Black Cat by going, "Oh, agency sexy, they made it political," and I'm like, bro, this is
She's
a
like a
kids cartoon.
She's like a teenager, guys. Shut up. Come on.
And also, oh, but she looks ugly. Guess what? So does everyone else in this show. The designs are bad.
Everyone in this show looks ugly. That's just kind of a problem with it.
Exactly. It's not different. It's not unique to Felicia, and it's not a political statement either, you dumbass.
Yeah, Warren attempts to get a job at Horizon, unfortunately. And Peter defeats Black Cat. Man, a lot happens in this episode looking back on it. This is also where Warren puts the Rhino gene into Alexei.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking
Alexei,
of, Alexei, the Rhino, is also part of the Super Genius School in this for some reason.
and he's voiced by Matt Mercer, who you probably know from either
You probably know,
Critical
honestly,
Role,
statistically, you probably know him for Critical Role.
but in the world of voice acting, he's also in Persona 5 as Yusuke Kitagawa.
Yeah.
Okay,
This episode, but yeah, it's Matt Mercer doing a really bad Russian accent.
yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next one. More Spider Slayers shit. Like I kind of like the Spider Slayers as a concept, but the way this show does them makes me really just not happy.
They're
For
it's
one,
funny
they're
because
all horrible CGI.
they have the same color scheme as the Eva from Evangelion, like the main one with the green and purple.
It's genuinely perplexing how bad they look.
Getting the mecha Harry or no, getting the mecha Peter or Harry will have to do it again.
But yeah, the next episode is Alexei's thing activates and he turns into the Rhino. Harry reluctantly agrees to quit Horizon High to join Norman's homeschooling scheme. Gwen learns that her uncle is the Jackal.
The Gooner.
And he also gets sent to prison for experimenting on teenagers, which killed us.
Yeah.
Why does this? There's very few things as consistently painful yet fun to watch as a show that keeps giving you ammo for stupid jokes.
And then there's the next episode, which hey, remember Spider-Man 3? And how they had the symbiote and Sandman.
Sandman is easily a candidate for one of the worst episodes of the entire first season.
Easily.
It has breakneck pacing, a pointless, stupid twist.
Which the twist is, Sandman can't actually control his powers, but when he does, it turns out he's not a bad guy. It's his daughter who is angry at him because he worked for Hammerhead to pay the bills and stuff, you know. So what does she do? Work
And
for
then she joins
Hammerhead.
Hammerhead.
And then she fucking kills him.
And this is also set to Peter getting the symbiote suit for the first time.
Yeah, and when he gets the symbiote, he quips jokes and stuff right after Sandman died, and he saw it.
On that note, we were also laughing. On that note, I kind of get why Hemio went with Hammerhead, because he's consistently the best villain in this entire show.
He is. There's a scene in a later episode that's amazing.
Yeah, this it feels like Kevin Schneck, the creator of this show, has a thing for Hammerhead in the same way Zeb Wells has a thing for Tombstone.
Yeah,
In that he's like their favorite crime lord they use for street level storylines. You good, Bernardo?
Oh yes, sorry.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we're still going. We're episode 7 is the episode. Wait, no, it's episode 7 or episode 0? No, wait. Okay,
No,
count episode 0.
episode
This is episode 7. This is episode 7. Symbiotic relationship. We have the Peter bonding to the symbiote more. Norman releases the Vulture from prison so he can be a teacher at Oz Academy.
Yeah.
And there is an admittedly funny scene where Peter tries to arrest him and the cops are like, he just got out. He hasn't done anything yet. You can't arrest him again. It's like, why? He's a supervillain. He has his suit. Yeah. Toombs attacks the Stark Expo. No, Toombs plans to attack the Stark Expo. Spider Slayers break into Horizon High. Peter beats the crap out of Alistair Smythe.
Yeah, because it turns out he was the one in the vulture suit for... I don't even remember why.
Yeah. Peter tries to get rid of the symbiote, learns it's bonded deeply to him. And then
the black suit arc in this show pretty much lasts like only one episode.
No, it's the next episode as well.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, but yeah,
The
if
worst,
you thought that
another one of the worst episodes.
Yeah, so if you thought that the Spider-Man 2 symbiote arc was rushed, wait until you see this show.
Jesus Christ, I hate the Stark Expo episode. Something that people something that we consistently kept thinking throughout watching this show is that, man, the criticism of Peter Parker in the MCU as a Nepo baby is so much funnier knowing that this show exists and does it like 15 times worse.
Yeah, this is
In
like
the
everything.
In the MCU, Peter still has to go to a shitty high school in New York, and this show he's at the school for geniuses.
And also in this show, Peter makes me want to kill myself because of how annoying he is, and I at least I can tolerate Tom Holland's Peter.
It gets better about this as it goes on, but the early episodes are brutal with the amount of stupid science puns Peter makes.
Again, like Fool said, he's the human personification of the nerd emoji.
Also, his absolutely fucked up bed desk.
Oh yeah! This wasn't in the teaser that I posted because I thought it was too hard to like show it, but in his room, his bed is you know those bed desks where like you could pull up the bed and it shows a desk? Well, he has one of those, and for some reason he has a laptop that's somehow glued into the desk. It's stupid.
And this is not to be confused with the desk he has on the other wall of his room. Because this show is stupid.
Pretty much.
We all had a visceral reaction to the desk. Okay, Stark Expo. Peter meets Iron Man at the Stark Expo. Peter is fanboying over Iron Man at the Stark Expo.
And Iron Man is accusing him of being the guy who's trying to rob him when he's actually Ghost.
The V-252 manages to bond to Peter again during the fight with Ghost. He defeats Ghost with it. Flash Thompson manages to be the one to take it off, which is honestly kind of neat setup for a good episode later on.
Yeah, and also, he ends up winning the Stark Expo with a paper mache volcano because everything else got destroyed, which Fool is pretty certain that exact setup happened in Jimmy Neutron.
I'm like, I see no reason not to believe him. I feel like that is a Jimmy Neutron joke.
Yeah, I agree.
Flash's performance by Ben Diskin is doing a lot of weight for his character. As I said, I genuinely like this Flash. He's one of the better portrayed characters in this show. I kind of wish he was a more consistent presence because the one episode where he and Peter are together the most is one of the best Peter showcases as well.
Yup. But we can't have nice things.
He's just a really solid take on Flash who just gets underused really badly, and I'm upset about that. And then Doc Octavius is also here in his mechanical arms. He's using those for the first time. That backfires, and they turn on him due to Ghost Tech. And Max Modell says, "No, Ock, you can't work on your arms anymore." And Ock is like, "This is bullshit."
He's like Norman in Spider-Man 1 after he gets fired from Oscorp.
Oh god, that probably is what happened because they were working on these around the same time. And Dan Slott was working on both!
No, I mean Norman in the first Spider-Man movie.
No, I'm saying like this first Spider-Man game, like Norman threatening to pull Ock's funding is a recurring plot point.
Oh, I thought you meant I was talking about the Raimi movie.
Yeah, like it feels like this. It feels like this show and Spider-Man Spider-Man Insomniac 1, the Ock and Norman dynamic was probably worked on at the same, since they were being worked on at the same time. I assume Slott just pitched the Ock and Norman dynamic for both of them in different ways.
Yeah, and and one of them works and the other is in a bad show.
Yep. But yeah, Norman gives Ock a business card to Oz Academy, yada yada yada. Stark Expo made us want to die, and then the ending, Tony signs a thing for Peter with Paul, and then we all explode.
Yes.
You saw that in our teaser video where Fool died.
Yeah.
Okay, next episode.
Hey
The next
kids,
episode, the
whoever
episode that applies to the "Don't worry, Squidward, I'll use I'll make this plotline shadier with my amazing psychic powers."
and then Miles is like, I will now be more annoying than ever before.
I make one joke about this version of Miles being more like Spider-Boy, and he doesn't have webs at first, and I decide to shoot myself. Come on, you stupid show!
Oh, you
I
just
made a
know.
joke, and you decided to embrace it. I hate you.
Oh, you just know that if Spider-Boy was either created back when the show was airing, or if the show aired today, Spider-Boy would have been in it.
Honestly, I could see a lot of potential in just a standalone Spider-Boy cartoon.
Yeah, because I know you still like Spider-Boy's boys
I
like
quite
solo
like
comics,
him.
and
He got
yeah,
off to
they're
a rough start. He got off to a rough start, but his solo has really kind of solidified him as a really entertaining and fun book. I like him a lot.
and the version of Spider-Girl that like and Spider-Girl now in the comics is basically Bullseye's Robin, as in the Daredevil
Yes,
villain.
it's great. Read Spider-Boy if you haven't. The current series is still ongoing, and I really like it. It's probably some of Dan Slott's best work in years. So,
Oh, okay.
but yeah.
Anyways, this episode, if you thought that the pacing was dog shit before, it gets worse. Because this is when Miles gets powers. In the
Miles gets his
episode,
powers through another spider accident after a Spider Slayer attack.
this is the 10th episode. We are not even halfway through the
Yeah.
season.
Miles immediately tells Gwen and Anya about his powers and then reveals his home address on live TV.
He doxes himself.
Oh my god. But yeah, this episode is Miles has to learn that a secret identity is important, which is insane to do as the premise for him getting powers.
You know, wait, let me look up a meme that I'm thinking of.
And again, it's not like 616 has a better explanation for his retconned origin, because apparently he started around Secret Invasion in 616's rebooted timeline.
Okay, I found the meme that I'm thinking of. I don't agree with this meme because I do like the designs that Wolverine got in Deadpool Wolverine, but it's basically man, I wish I had that guy's fits, but he probably wishes he had someone else's fits. And then the other guy's like, damn, I got that shit on for real. He does not have that shit on. This is Insomniac Miles versus this show's Miles.
Miles ends up getting cool red lightning, which is the one thing I do like about this which is the one thing I do kind of like about this version.
Yeah, I do like that too. It's a neat little
The red lightning
detail.
is neat. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it makes it different from like the Insomnia games and also Spider-Verse.
And then we get to the next episode, which is the first one we can unequivocally say we genuinely liked.
And it's the reason why our current server where we are recording this is called Norman's Crack Mansion.
Okay, so Kraven the Hunter in this show is a genuinely kind of genius reinvention of the character in a modern day capacity.
If you read the original Ultimate Spider-Man run, it's like that, except he's still Russian and he's really funny.
So essentially, this Kraven is like a reality TV star who holds a most dangerous game kind of show where he hunts in super dangerous wild animals. But this time, he's decided his hunt is going to be in the streets of New York, and he wants to capture the two Spider-Men. The show is called Kraven's Amazing Hunt, which is genuinely hilarious. I love that. Norman. This is entirely because Norman hired him to kill the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Given
We
how
now
Craven looks at you explain
we
it.
now and we now know who was financing the Craven movie. It was Norman Osborn himself, and in his own words, it was worth every penny.
We decided that Norman paid Craven entirely in crack.
Yes, because he
Craven
has
in this
crack
show looks
teeth.
like a crackhead. It's quite distressing. But he is
Yeah.
also the funniest character in the show, and easily the funniest performance in the show.
Actually, who voices Craven? I don't remember.
I'm checking. Who does voice Craven? It's Troy Baker.
Damn. The
But
man
yeah,
who's in everything.
yeah, you've definitely heard Troy Baker, most likely as Joel from The Last of Us. But yeah, I really like his stupid voice of his stupid Craven voice. It's really funny. Craven tries to brand Miles in this episode.
On June 9th, popular TV show Craven the Hunter said, I will acquire Black Spider-Man.
Yes, he puts Peter and Miles in separate cages and wants to brand Miles.
But fortunately, in the end, Peter and Miles they joked that they got his show canceled, which good.
They also have a pretty neat setup at the end where Peter has to work with Norman, which is like something kind of fun for this point in the show. Also, Miles finally gets his web shooters, meaning he escaped the Spider-Boy allegations.
Thank God.
Thank God. I was genuinely worried he just wasn't going to have them, and this version of him was going to be the basis for Spider-Boy.
But yeah,
All right.
next
We
episode.
actually have a few more good episodes in a row. Actually, the next 4 are all quite good. This was probably the best streak of the show we watched.
Yeah, and then right after that, it all goes
Yeah.
downwards.
Next up we have Halloween Moon, which is a Peter Hulk team up episode. And I'm a personal fan of it because it uses one of my favorite underrated Spider-Man villains.
AKA,
A man wolf.
in the words of J. John Jameson from Spectacular, my son, the astronaut.
Yeah, John Jameson, who, due to a weird rock he found on the moon, became a space werewolf. This
Don't you hate it
episode
when that?
involves Peter and Hulk fighting Man-Wolf, and then Hulk getting the Man-Wolf stone and becoming a Man-Wolf, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I really like Hulk in this episode too. They actually do a quite good job characterizing him.
Yeah, he's neat.
Him and Banner have a strong dynamic, and both voices of the character do a good job.
They do. It's Fred. Wait.
It's Fred Taschereau as Hulk, because it always is, and it's
Yeah.
Kevin Schnick as Bruce Banner, who incidentally is the creator of this show.
Oh, I didn't know it was Kevin as Bruce. I didn't realize it. That's neat.
So good job, Kevin. Your show might be kind of bad, but you did a good Bruce Banner.
You did. Good job.
This episode also
Anyway,
has a good amount of involvement from Harry and Gwen, which is pretty nice.
yeah, and it's like one of the. No, it's not one of the last. It's like the last time. Wait, no. Next episode also has a good Harry, but yeah, this is one of the last times that Harry is tolerable in this show. It's all downhill from here.
Yep. Next episode, Spider-Man on Ice. Another case of using a kind of underrated villain, which I appreciate.
Really an Iron Man one, which is funny because it means that once again, this version of Peter isn't beating the Iron Boy Jr. allegations.
Yeah, this episode is him up against Blizzard, who, I kind of have an idea on why he was here, even though the show itself doesn't actually do this.
What is it?
So Blizzard became an Inhuman around this time in the comics.
Oh, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, he was previously just a guy in a suit, but he went through Terrigenesis and gained natural ice powers. And this was the era of the comics where Inhumans were just kind of a thing.
Yeah,
But it was
because
at like the tail end of that era, so it's probably
yeah,
why
right.
I don't think he comes back. So
Yeah, no, I don't think he doesn't come back in this show either. I think.
once again,
Because also the Inhumans, I think the Avengers Assemble at that time which was still ongoing. That was the show that was dealing with Inhuman stuff, I think.
They did a Civil War arc with the Inhumans as the focus.
Of course.
Yeah. But yeah, once again, another episode where Hammerhead being here makes it better. Because the
And
entire
also,
thing, the entire thing is Blizzard is a 2-bit thug working for Hammerhead who gets a piece of tech Harry's working on and uses it to become a supervillain.
yeah, and by the way, he just steals Harry's stack from a cafe, like he doesn't even steal it when Harry isn't looking. He goes up to him, pushes him, grabs it, and now he has the tech.
I kind of respect that hustle, honestly.
Yeah.
This is also an episode where Harry has to work with Spider-Man for the first time, and it's decently well handled.
Yeah, which is surprising considering what happens later with him.
Harry gets a flame sword, his second time using a sword in this show after his Travis Touchdown beam katana during the Stark Expo.
Yeah.
God. Okay. Moving on to Venom, which is, I think, my favorite episode of the entire show so far.
Well,
Would you agree with me on that? What's your favorite, Bernardo?
I'm gonna be real. A lot of the episodes kind of blur in my mind.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I'd say that's a good pick, to be honest.
This episode mainly focuses on following up the Venom arc previously with the black suit. Peter ends up learning there's another host of the V252, which managed to escape. Peter ends up learning that it is Flash Thompson.
Yeah, and at first they kind of, it's a red herring that it's actually Max, but no, it's not Max. It is Flash.
We forgot to mention in the Stark Expo episode, there's a bit where Max is experimenting on the V252, and it's in a chamber with a bunch of electricity, and we call it that's the zapping system. We decided that.
Yes, that's his greatest invention.
God, it's so funny that episode was miserable, but for that one moment, we were all cheering.
Exactly.
But yeah, the Venom episode is probably my favorite of the entire show. The main premise is this whole Venom mystery is set up with Peter taking a bit of time at Midtown to tutor Flash for an upcoming test. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna be completely real. Flash is like the missing element this show needed, but didn't know how to include, because Flash makes Peter an instantly more compelling character.
He does.
Like the
Especially because
entire I really like the decision to focus on them, even though it's kind of tied to the Horizon High thing, which is the one reason I'm a bit miffed about it. I really like the whole thing of him and Peter kind of having put the bullying cycle aside.
Yeah, it's neat.
Like, this Flash is kind of warming up to Peter, he still kind of thinks he's a nerd, but like in an affectionate way. Like, and also the entire episode hinges on the fact that he needs his help for this test.
And also, if you I was gonna say the joke about how this is the second show in a row that Eddie Brock doesn't show up, but no, he does show up in the next season.
Yeah, Eddie shows up in the next season. This episode does not, unfortunately, have the recurring bit from Ultimate Spider-Man where Flash becomes Agent Venom and immediately just starts making Beetle's life a living hell.
I didn't actually. I think I stopped watching Ultimate Spider-Man after season 1.
Yeah, the entire premise of the Agent Venom episode in that is Flash gets bonded to the symbiote, starts being Agent Venom, and he gets into like these recurring fights with the Iron Man, Spider-Man shared villain Beetle, and keeps owning him in increasingly funny ways. To the point where
Damn.
Beetle gets so pissed he decides to concoct a revenge scheme.
Okay, Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. You did one good thing, but I still won't forgive you for not being accurate to the actual Bendis book.
It's that and the Moon Knight episode that are the best ones in Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yes,
The Moon Knight one is great because they make the decision to just remove Khonshu from the equation and imply that there's a solid chance Mark might just be talking to the moon itself.
yeah.
There's a bit in the episode where what were you gonna say?
Speaking of Moon Knight, he actually does show up in the show in season 3, but like,
we're not getting to him in this episode. We're not.
Yes, and I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna say this about him. He could have been any other. Like, street level Marvel hero, and he would not change a single thing.
There's like
I
a
am
bunch
start.
of older, washed up Marvel heroes they could have used for that role. Honestly,
Yeah,
if I
I'm
had to
sure
pick,
that.
I'd use like Speedball or something.
Oh yeah, the isn't he the guy that caused Civil War to happen?
No, the guys who caused Civil War to happen are the board of directors at Damage Control. But Speedball was
Oh
there when but Speedball was there when the Sanford incident happened.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say yeah. But
Uh,
yeah, I'm
this is
pretty
a
sure that.
this is a brief tangent, but I know most people listening might only know the Civil War from the MCU. But okay, so in the comics, you might have heard that Civil War was caused by a conflict between a bunch of supervillains and this teenage superhero team called the New Warriors, where the
Yeah,
New
which the
Warriors
name New
put
Warriors might be from. Oh, sorry. The New Warriors man name might be familiar to you based on that cancel Marvel comic that some bigots still cry about by saying, "Oh, they hate a character that's non-binary yet named Snowflake," which like, yeah, that is bad. But also that comic got canceled. It never released. Get the fuck over it already.
yeah. But yeah, the New Warriors fought these group of supervillains at Stanford Elementary. It went badly, and the Captain Marvel villain Nitro detonated himself and blew up the school.
Yeah. And fun
It
fact,
ki- it, ki-
okay, so
it killed all the other supervillains, most of the New Warriors except for Night Thrasher and Speedball, though Night Thrasher was presumed dead due to being zapped into another dimension, and a bunch of kids.
yeah. Another tangent based on this tangent of there was a Fox Marvel movie that got canceled in the late 2000s that was just gonna be their version of Civil War, like the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Daredevil. And in that version, instead of the New Warriors, it was gonna be the Human Torch, and instead of Nitro, it was gonna be Molecule Man, the Fantastic Four villain.
Molecule Man kind of fits that role.
He does.
Yeah. Uh,
But then,
from
but
there,
anyways,
going back to the thing I was saying, the real reason this entire thing happened is because Damage Control, which is a construction company in the Marvel universe that takes contracts to repair damaged stuff after superhero fights,
was actually
were secretly slipping like power enhancing drugs, mutant growth hormone to supervillains to make sure they cause more destruction, and as such they would get more lucrative contracts.
oh, that part I forgot. I was gonna say
Wolverine
that.
killed Wolverine killed the CEO of Damage Control after learning this.
As he should. Also, on the
But
topic
yeah,
of damage
the
control,
entire reason Civil War happened in the comics was corporate greed. Think about that.
yep. But yeah, I was gonna say damage control was actually the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, and I remember liking that episode.
Damage Control is just a really fun concept. They were actually created by Dwayne McDuffie.
Yeah, the man, the legend himself, which like you probably know him because of his work in like Ben 10, Alien Force, the DCAU,
Yeah,
Milestone.
he created Damage Control back in 1988. It's still, it's fun. Oh, Fool is
Yeah.
back just in time
Oh
actually
hey
because we're talking
fool.
about Venom.
Hey, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Okay. So to recap, we talked about
We got all the way to Venom. Is there anything you wanted to comment in about any of the episodes from when you left to Venom?
Which ones
you
were
left.
those?
I think you left after Osborn Academy, actually, or like after
So
the
yeah,
Black Cat episode.
we talked about Day in the Life, Party Animals, Sandman, Symbiotic Relationships, Stark Expo, Ultimate Spider-Man, Kraven's Amazing Hunt, and Halloween Moon, and Spider-Man on Ice.
You already said all the jokes that we made during those?
We already went
Yeah,
over all the bits.
Okay.
including Craven's Crack Den.
Okay, cool. But yeah,
But yeah, Fool is basically the he's basically our within our group. He's the Venom head.
Fool is a
yeah,
big fan of Venom. He owns the Venomnibus from the Kate's Stegman run. He's
Yeah,
just a
which is
big
great,
fan.
which is a
yeah,
good damn comic.
yeah. Read the that run.
Fool is also, in particular, a huge fan of Agent Venom.
Yes,
Yeah,
Agent
you
Venom
know,
is. I I don't know if Agent Venom or Eddie is my favorite, but I don't know. I really like them both. I like Mania
Well,
too.
he's read enough Agent Venom to warrant Cullen Bunn being in his top read creators on League.
Mhm.
Damn.
which my current top read is Ken Pender's.
Fool
Foreshadowing is
has been
literally
Unfortunately.
advice.
Yeah, Fool has been binging the Archie comics of Sonic
Yeah.
against
Actually,
Bill.
be right back. You guys can talk about the episode if you still want to, or you can just
I'll get Fool caught up to speed. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Okay.
good. Anyways, be right back.
Yep.
But yeah, we touched on a bunch of the stuff from those episodes. The bad symbiote arc, the worst Sandman thing, Stark Expo giving us all a seizure,
God,
Miles beating the Spider Boy allegations, Craven's crack den.
I wish I was there to talk about the shitty fucking symbiote arc, because that is like,
You can give your thoughts on it now because Bernardo's gone and we need to wait for him to come back.
yeah, true. I assume you already went over this, so I'm just gonna say it real quick. The pacing is way too damn fast on Peter losing control of the symbiote and getting it.
The
Like,
fact that it happens in like 2.5 episodes is deranged.
exactly. Not. It didn't even. I don't even think it was 2.5.
Oh
I
wait,
think
no.
it was one.
Okay, it starts in the Sandman episode, then in Okay, it is 2.5. Sandman, then symbiotic relationship, then Stark Expo.
Mm-hmm. It's just so damn bad.
We also talked about how much we genuinely like this show's version of Craven because he's silly.
Yeah, which is surprising because I'm not a big Craven guy. Honestly, I am the first
I'm
person to
back.
say. I'm the first person to say that I do not like Craven the Hunter in any of his appearances, really.
That's part of why Craven has. Part of that is because Craven's just had diminishing returns ever since his big '90s storyline,
Like,
his '80s storyline.
I've never liked them at all. Which, it's kind of funny that two of Spider-Man's classic villains I am really, really not a fan of.
Yeah, one of them is just because you really don't like an arc with him.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I was also talking about how I genuinely liked the Venom episode in this show, and how it's probably my favorite of this season.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that was like one of the few episodes that I really the Venom episode I didn't really have anything to say about because I thought it was fine. My
I
only
feel like
issue
Ian,
was
as I said, as I said before you got back, I feel like a big part of that is that Flash is like easily the best character on the show who doesn't show up enough for its own good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because he's like the only character that's not a science nerd.
He grounds Peter in a way that's desperately needed.
Like,
Yeah, it's like a basic like concept in writing. You need characters with different dynamics so that they can bounce off each other.
which that really just highlights why the main cast just don't work at all. When it's something I've said before where when everyone is smart, no one is smart.
And they make
Yeah,
and this becomes really true as we go on. Holy shit.
Did you touch on Tombstone yet?
We
uh,
did we talked about Tombstone briefly, and we're gonna get another chance to right now because we're about to talk about Screwball.
Okay, good, because this actually brings up one of the best moments of Tombstone, aka one of the few moments where I genuinely laughed at this show. That is depressing to say.
Okay, so in this episode, Screwball, the social media supervillain from Dan Slott's Spider-Man run, is first doing the rounds. We learn Harry is a Screwball fan, the start of his downfall as a character.
yeah.
And from there, we get a scene where Absorbing Man is just randomly making a video about Screwball. Hammerhead comes up to him in the office and goes, "What are you doing?"
What are you doing? Stop that! Like,
Of note, Hammerhead in this show is voiced by Jim Cummings, who you've probably heard as Taz the Tasmanian Devil, Winnie the Pooh, Darkwing Duck, or Pete from Disney stuff.
don't forget the most
Oh, I
important
just looked up.
role.
What?
Don't
What were you
forget Jim
saying?
Cummings' most important role.
What?
He's Dr. Robotnik.
Oh
All right.
yeah!
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, I was saying that Randy Robertson, who does show up in this episode, he's voiced by Zeno Robinson, who is currently voicing Harry in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh my god, what do you mean Jim Cummings also plays Ghost in this show? Imagine that disparity in your voice roles. The best villain and one of the worst.
Damn. Oh, funny thing, Clash is voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, who you probably know as, the Insomniac Spider-Man.
God, wasting him on Clash is such a war crime.
Don't worry, he does voice Lizard, who is in the next arc.
That's at least something.
Yeah.
But anyways, on that note, I also just learned something insanely awesome about Absorbing Man.
What?
He's Greg Berger! He's fucking Grimlock!
Yo!
He's Grimlock from Transformers! The funniest guy!
Oh yeah, I also have one more fact about Jim Cummings.
Yeah?
He actually voices a character in Spider-Man the Animated Series.
Oh.
If
Really?
you're wondering which one it is, get back here, sucker!
Oh
God.
yeah, he's Shocker.
He's also Man Spider.
You can't escape me!
I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
Anyways, back to Screwball. This episode tricked me because I fought Randy Robertson. No, I fought Randy Robertson and Liz Allen were students at Osborne Academy, but no, they were Midtown students, once again proving our theory that Oz Academy is just an elaborate homeschooling scam.
Exactly. And it also tricked us because we saw Screwball and we assumed, oh, this is gonna be abysmal dog shit. But no, it's pretty good.
This is one of the best episodes of the season, and that's depressing because it's a Screwball episode.
It's genuinely shocking how Screwball, which is, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not caught up really in much of Spider-Man fandom because I kind of stay out of those spaces. But
Good.
Valid, completely valid.
yeah, Screwball
You're already
is
a
like
Sonic.
one
You
of
are
the
already a Sonic fan. Being both a Spider-Man fan and a Sonic fan is a curse.
I also
I
don't
know this
like.
because I'm both.
Yeah, I also stay out of that fandom because I kind of hear it like secondhand, and what I've heard secondhand, I really do not like.
The main exposure people have to Screwball is Spider-Man 2018's DLC, where she's apparently at her most annoying.
But that's a fantastic way to have most people be introduced to your character.
But I honestly kind of liked how they did Screwball in this. The decision to make her Liz Allen was kind of dumb, but then again, that's not something new. Liz Allen becoming a random other character is not exactly new to Spider-Man adaptations.
He's just kind of there.
In the original Ultimate Universe, Liz Allen became Firestar for some reason.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But
Yeah.
Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
Yeah, they just did that. That's really funny that they did that. But yeah, this episode is pretty solid. It's just kind of Peter and Screwball having a sort of team up at frenemies team up thing as they have to fight the Absorbing Man.
Yeah, it's neat.
Randy,
Absorbing
once
Man.
again, this episode convinces me that this show would have been better set at Midtown because Liz and Randy are both really well done characters for this one episode they appear in.
They are.
Remember that time that Absorbing Man tried to suck out that guy's melanin? That was fucked up.
God, it's
You're
that
gonna have
one. It's that one political cartoon by a Nazi where Joe Biden absorbs a woman's melanin.
You're going to have to explain what the hell I mean by that.
I just did. It's that one political comic by a Nazi where Joe Biden sucks out a woman's melanin.
No, why Absorbing Man is absorbing someone's melanin?
We thought he was going to do that when he tried to reach for Randy.
The fuck is wrong with Absorbing Man? Why did he do that?
Absorbing Man is he's the best villain in the show.
Well, don't forget Tombstone. Tombstone's very funny.
No, Hammerhead.
Oh, wait, is it Hammerhead? Have I been calling him Tombstone the entire time?
I think so. I think you have actually. Jesus. I mean, that is fun. You thought it was Tombstone because Tombstone is related to Robbie Robertson.
Tombstone is actually a major character in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, out right now.
Yeah, watch that show instead of this one. It's these only 2 episodes in as from the day we were recording, but it's pretty good. Don't listen to Hudson Fames. It is woke. which is good.
It's woke to the point where I'm almost convinced he just hasn't watched it.
That, or I saw someone suggest he was being sarcastic when he said that, which I hope that's the case because that would actually be kind of funny.
I freaking hope so. Anyways, moving on from there. But yeah, this was a surprisingly solid episode. I kind of wish this episode did something the comic. Time for a dumb pitch. The way this episode ends is what I think should happen to Screwball in the comics.
He becomes a vigilante.
I like the idea of Screwball going from villain prankster to vigilante. That's kind of an interesting angle, and you could get a easily entertaining miniseries out of it.
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Put like Christopher Hastings or someone on that shit, and I'd read it.
He's the guy who's making Radiant Black, right?
No, Kyle Higgins is Radiant Black. Christopher Hastings is best known for Unbelievable Gwenpool.
Oh, yeah, Gwenpool. Yeah, that
Oh
was
my
it.
god, Guri Hiru drawn Screwball comic. I need it.
Hey, I take every criticism of Screwball that I've ever had back. She's not annoying, actually. She's great.
Give her a Guri Hiru drawn comic, and I will die for her.
Yes.
The words "I need a Screwball comic" has never been said by man before.
He hasn't.
Hey, if they can make Gold Goblin work, there's hope for anything, honestly.
How's it feel being the first person to ever want a Screwball comic besides a person who actually is writing for Screwball?
As someone who owns random trades like Star, I'm feeling pretty good.
Nice.
Okay. We've delayed long enough. It's time to get into the bad shit.
Oh god, that means I had to leave for the good shit?
Rise of Dr. Octopus time! This is when the show decides, what if we stop doing entertaining self-contained episodes and start doing the sloggiest multi-parters you've ever seen?
You think if I drink my water too fast, I can drown myself so I don't have to talk about this?
Anyways, this episode starts with Otto Octavius nuking himself.
Legalize nuclear bombs.
To be clear, okay, the actual premise is Crimson Dynamo breaks into Horizon High to try and steal Otto's invention, which is a nuclear reactor hidden under the school.
I just realized, this is the third fucking Iron Man villain in this show.
I forget if it's actually a nuclear reactor, but it's essentially that. And
pretty much.
I'm almost certain it is.
And what happens because of this is, well, it goes critical and blows up in Otto's face, and it looks like he dies. Like, the entire screen is filled with red as the most agonizing scream you've ever heard is heard. And then he survives with just a bruise and also 4 extra arms due to he's become a mutant now due to all that radiation. No, I'm just fucking with you, actually. He actually just got fused with the arms.
It's the common Doc Ock thing. Oh no, the arms I invented are fused to my body. They won't come off, and they also kind of are making me evil. Implied, maybe?
They don't make it clear in this show.
Oh yeah, no, they don't do that in this show. They just do that in, like, Raimi or whatever. In this show, he's just already deranged.
Because he's an asshole.
There's at least kind of a funny bit of him trying to be a superhero at first, which I do admittedly kind of like, if he wasn't so obnoxious.
Yeah, if you thought Peter was annoying in this show, you haven't seen Otto yet.
Scott Menville's nerd voice is insufferable, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Personally, I think we should just replace him with Dr. Finitivis from the Archie Sonic comics, because I just like him more. That's it.
God. But yeah, we fight. This part 2 is Ock trying to be a hero and fighting the lizard. Horizon gets destroyed due to a formula he made to try and cure the lizard. Modell fires Otto because he fucked up, and Otto goes to Oz Academy.
Reminder. Wait, did you already say the thing about no one is actually at Oz Academy?
Yes.
Yeah, Oz Academy has 3 known teachers, and one of which is in jail, and 1 known student.
Which is Hardee's.
None of the
Oz
others have
talk.
names except for like Ollie Osnick, who I'm convinced is a paid actor.
Yes. Well, actually, I don't think he showed up. We actually saw him before he became like Steel Spider.
No, we did. We saw him.
Oh, okay. I don't.
Oh wait,
We're
no,
getting
I think he
ahead of.
was a Horizon student.
Oh.
No,
No,
wait, no, he was when Peter was like visiting Oz for a lecture or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I need you to remember something
Paid
as well.
actor.
Yeah, remember, he is actually a paid actor because he's part of Norman's like security force. So he is there not to be a student, but to be a part of his security. Or wait, am I getting that mixed up with Otto?
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Rise of Doc Ock Part 3. Peter learns that Norman got Harry suspended from Horizon so he could go to Oz Academy for his stupid homeschool thing. He shows the evidence to Harry, and this is the beginning of the end.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
where his character goes from being kind of okay and fun to I want this kid dead.
Ladies and
Harry is weirdly dedicated to believing his dad.
ladies and gentlemen at home, I'm going to present you with a multiple choice option. Upon seeing that his dad got him kicked out, do you think he A, believed Peter and decided to keep working under Norman to see if he could maybe try and figure out why he did that? B, he decided to go to Norman and ask, why did you do this? Or C, do you think he decided to be fucking stupid and believe his dad for absolutely no goddamn reason? Besides just, he's my dad, he has to be good?
The answer is C.
Now, here's the thing. You could say, like, oh, maybe he just doesn't want to believe it because that's his dad. And, I can understand that. I could
That's
totally
kind of
believe
how
it.
it starts, but it gets even more insane as it goes on.
It gets to a point where it becomes less and less believable, where at some point it's just, you have no reason to actually believe this. You're just making shit up now.
Yeah, because at some point he starts accusing Peter of working with the Jackal, even though he's fighting against the Jackal.
Literally no reason for him to believe this, and also there are multiple news broadcasts about this, probably.
Yeah. We first get the Osborn Commandos in this episode, which at this point consists of Doc Ock, Vulture, and Steel Spider.
You may remember
Steel-
Steel Spider from that time that Norman Osborn had a little mental breakdown and thought Steel Spider was Spider-Man. Because, remember, Steel Spider is not Spider-Man.
But fool, what do you mean that time Normal had a mental breakdown? That's normal all the time.
Also,
Yeah,
when
but,
it's right about to look like that Peter and Harry are about to make up, Otto blabs his mouth and reveals that he learned this earlier in the show, like at the end of Rise of Doc Ock Part 1. That he saw a connection between Peter and Spider-Man, but believed he was only making Spider-Man's tech. He blabs this, and Harry it looks like he wants to kill Peter for it.
For literally no reason. Besides, he's just making stuff for Peter. Or, no, he's just making stuff for Spider-Man, which, like, you think that would make Peter, or, no. I'm getting my words all jumbled. You think that would make Harry think, oh, wait a minute, you're working for Spider-Man? Maybe I can trust Spider-Man. But, no. Who loves drama? You see how no one's, like, putting their hand up right now? Exactly.
I mean, I like drama when it's well done.
Okay, my bad.
And then the final part of
drama?
Rise of Doc Ock, which has at this point just kind of changed from a Doc Ock arc to a Doc Ock and Osborn's arc.
It's essentially just Doc Ock is also kinda there, I guess.
When Doc Ock is only involved in like half of the Rise of Doc arc.
It's hardly Hardy's Coxborn Downfall featuring adaptations from Marvel Comics.
Oh, I forgot to mention at the end of the first episode, Otto says he's gonna be a superior hero to Spider-Man, and Fool popped a blood vessel so hard we had to stop watching for that night.
Please don't tell me I have to be here when we have to talk about those episodes with him.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, I am certain that the show cuts out every gross thing about the Astro Superior arc, and a quick spoiler for the Superior arc: Miles knows that it's not Peter.
Oh, thank God, someone actually has brains.
Yeah.
But then again, Cloak and Dagger are in it, so it balances out because Fool hates them.
They're bums.
God.
Oh yeah, another thing that happens in the Rise of Doc Ock. Oh, actually, we're talking about part 4 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so part 4 starts with Peter and Miles trying to find the Jackal in prison, but it turns out he's not in prison, it's a clone of him.
Oh God, there is clones.
There are.
Oh,
but I think they're more of robots.
Yeah, they're like clones designed to explode.
Close enough.
They blow it up. It blows up. Peter discovers Peter convinces Gwen and Harry to help him raid one of Warren's underground labs.
Hey, remember that time that Twisted Metal 2 had Calypso's daughter blow up?
I haven't played Twisted Metal.
Actually, wait, it wasn't Twisted Metal 2. I don't think it was. Was it? Whatever, that's off topic.
Yeah. Oh, also in this episode, we got the first appearance of a certain villainous group whose first letter is Sinister. I mean, first name is Sinister. That's right, the Sinister 5. Not the Sinister 6, because fuck you.
This continues this show's trend of making things slightly different from the comics for no reason other than to seemingly upset you.
Like how Sandman is just dead. Remember how Sandman
is just dead? Like how fucking Jackal is a main villain somehow.
And is okay, here's a spoiler alert. Jackal is the last main villain of this show in season 1, right?
Yeah, he is.
Aside from
insufferable.
Aside from Norman Osborn himself, I'm pretty sure.
He is.
The climax of this whole Rise of Doc Ock shit is Doc convinces the Osborn Commandos to become his Sinister 5 and turn on Norman. They essentially destroy the lab. Ock finally becomes Dr. Octopus. They leave. Norman tells Peter to go without him and save Harry because the thing is collapsing around them and he doesn't want Harry to die. And then after Peter gets Harry and Gwen out safely, Harry blames Spider-Man for his father's death.
And then we just started a bit of Harry Osborn just seething up and trying to look connections to Spider-Man with everything.
Now, in hindsight, you could say, okay, maybe he blames Spider-Man because his dad just died, but I don't know if it's that, because Harry is just weirdly hell-bent against Spider-Man for no reason.
Yes.
It could have worked if this was the first time he started mistrusting Spider-Man, maybe. But
anyways, Anyways, we're done with Rise of Doc Ock. This was the most painful set of episodes in the show so far.
Yeah. And then we got a 5-parter now.
5-parter! Spider fucking Island! Remember what we said about Slott being a made producer on this?
Yeah, this show is just the Obama giving a medal to Obama image.
God.
Hey, remember that Superior's in this as well. Fucking shit.
I hate Superior. I hate this show.
Superior.
Superior.
I hate to say it, but this show is literally for Dan Slott. It's that fucking red letter media. Remember the Star Wars thing bit?
Remember the 90s?
Remember Superior Spider-Man?
Remember Snake Fortress?
Remember
I don't even know what that is.
Spider
That's a joke from
Island.
that's a joke from one of Donkey's video game difficulty videos where he's talking about Dark Souls.
Oh,
And he keeps repeating "Remember Snake Fortress" as the player character dies in increasingly stupid ways.
damn.
Anyways, this episode starts with the most offensive Spider-Man No More homage possible.
Yeah, a homage so bad. One of our friends that watched this show with us, Ren, he straight up compared this to the Morpha scene from BVS.
For context, Peter and Miles designed the big time suit as a stealth suit, but it doesn't work out right due to sweat, and Peter just throws it away. And he says like stealth. Doesn't he say like stealth suit no more?
He just walks away, and then he realizes, oh wait, why am I leaving this in the garbage? Am I stupid? I need to.
Oh God!
Someone
Right,
could,
that's it.
someone could steal the suit, which will never happen. Oh wait, someone steals the suit. Damn it.
Yeah, it turns out what happens is a random guy sees that Spider-Man threw away his suit, so he actually rips his own shirt off and he wears it in Spider-Man's honor.
They learn the guy wearing the stealth spider suit, who they just call the stealth spider, starts
It's kind of
he tries to poison the city, seemingly, with like a device on the Statue of Liberty.
okay. So actually, about that, well, okay. The show doesn't say this out loud, but it's heavily implied that that's Norman, and because of the thing that happened at the Jackal's lab, he now has spider powers.
No, it is Norman. We know for a fact it is.
Oh, okay, I don't remember if the show actually confirms explicitly or if it's just implied, but it's not that's not a bad thing per se, like because I just don't remember if it was specifically.
I kind of wish his spider suit was red, white, and blue.
Iron
Like Iron
Spider!
Patriot, Spider Patriot, or whatever.
Spider Patriot, fuck yeah, I love Dark Avengers.
Dark Avengers sweep one Dark Avengers zillion dollars in the box office.
Yeah.
Oh, this is completely unrelated, but I saw a tweet that made me really happy. My theory of Norman Osborn being the Thunderbolts post-credit scene is spreading.
Yo!
I genuinely hope that happens because if it
That'd
does,
be
I will
really
be
cool, actually.
yeah, I will be seated for Thunderbolts if that happens, even if the
It's
movie's bad.
Giancarlo Esposito.
God, no, he's in Captain America 4. Remember, as Sidewinder.
Yeah, he's gonna be
Don't
Norman Osborn secretly. He's gonna rip
God,
off
I
his
will.
mask and reveal another Giancarlo Esposito face.
With the waves. Don't forget the waves. But yeah, on that top of that tweet, someone theorized that that's why they cast Coleman Domingo in Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man as Norman, because it's gonna be him in Thunderbolts, which I wouldn't mind that.
I'd like to see that. That sounds really cool, actually.
Yeah, because
I
like
hope
I feel like the only way to do Norman in the MCU is by doing the Dark Avengers angle of he's a general moral villain, because you already had the Woody William Dafoe in No Way Home.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Fuck
back
Alright.
to
scrap everything. Do
Uh,
Dark Avengers. That's how we get the Avengers back. We get the Avengers
yes.
hype back by making them fucking evil.
Fuck Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. Get Norman Osborn as fucking going insane with the Dark Avengers, and that's
I know
gonna
we're
make
off
a lot
on a
of money.
tangent, but I want to add one last point. I love how the entire premise of Dark Reign in the comics is largely based on the fact that most other superheroes saw Norman's Green Goblin stuff as like kid shit because Peter was handling it for years, only for when he gets a taste of actual power for them to realize he's a real fucking deal. He's a real big fucking deal.
Yeah, my goat.
They're like, oh god, this guy's a problem. How have you been handling him all these years?
Because he's the goat.
But yeah, okay, back to the episode. We learn in this episode that Gwen has developed spider powers. She adopts a costume that okay, it's time for another really stupid decision. Gwen doesn't go by Spider-Woman or Ghost Spider in this show. She goes by Spider-Gwen because she's a public identity superhero and doesn't wear a mask.
Even though we had an episode in episode 10, explicitly about how secret identities are a good idea.
The black man isn't allowed to do that, but the white woman is. I see. Oh God. Anyways, but yeah, Gwen is a public superhero, takes the name Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
They stop the stealth spider, and then it's revealed that not only did Gwen gain powers from the explosion at the lab with all those spider experiments the Jackal was running, but it also gave it all of New York powers. All of New York
And
has
the way,
spider powers.
yeah, and the way they reveal that is kind of dumb because basically, Peter, Gwen, Harry, and Miles are walking down the street. They see someone fall accidentally fall, so Peter and Miles use their powers to save them, and Harry's like, "What the fuck? You're saying you're
It's another fake out for more Harry Peter drama.
Yeah, Harry just completely relapses and goes insane mode, and then it's shown that everyone has spider powers.
God.
Is it ever explained why Harry didn't get powers? Because I think he's the only person who doesn't
It
get
was
them.
because he was wearing that prototype goblin suit with the mask.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
That's why. This admittedly does lead to a kind of funny bit for the rest of this 5-parter, where Harry's like, "We gotta be careful, Pete. You could turn into one of those spider monsters at any point because you got your powers really early." And Peter's like, I think I'll be fine, you know?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll just walk it off. It's fine. Rub a little dirt
Don't worry
in it.
about it.
Don't worry
Anyways,
about
yeah,
it,
that's
Harry.
the secret. The spider powers are slowly turning people into spider monsters. It happens at the end of part 2, which is an honestly kind of largely unrelated, but just kind of fun episode of Peter, Gwen, and Black Widow doing a team up against Hydra.
Yeah, specifically against Crossbones, which you might know is the man who caused the MCU Civil War to happen.
He sure did, by exploding.
Yup.
But yeah, this is like a pretty inoffensive episode. Laura Bailey plays both the female leads.
Yeah, and also Armin Zola shows up at the end, voiced by Mark Hamill, which
He also looks like absolute dog shit.
He looks like a character from Reboot.
He does!
But yeah, it's a pretty.
I'm gonna be right back. Give me a moment.
We're all
Okay.
leaving.
Yeah. So yeah, then we have part 3, which okay, at the end of part 2, Gwen becomes the spider monster, and oh yeah, part 3 is when Kraven shows up again. And we all cheer when that happened because Kraven in the show, as we already said, is awesome.
Literally, I think the only reason that Kraven is good here is because everyone else in this show is so bad it raises the bar enough for him to barely make it.
True, but he's still funny.
Yep, and a lot of that is because he used crack no jutsu.
Exactly.
There is no other explanation.
I'm back.
Okay, we were talking about Kraven's return and how awesome it is.
The moment Kraven came back, I cheered.
We cheered. It was like Endgame in theaters.
He's like the best villain in this entire show, no cap. And every time I see him, my enjoyment is raised by a whole point.
What about Hammerhead, though?
Hammerhead's great, but not as funny.
He doesn't have a
crack. Hammerhead would win but he doesn't give a signed photo of himself away to Peter after he kicks his ass.
True.
Which is the funniest single moment in the entire show. Oh my god.
This is something that fucking Johnny Cage would do.
Like, Kraven's just like, Peter isn't even Spider-Man at this point. He's just faking having spider powers from the Spider Island incident. And he and Kraven have a little fight, and Kraven is like, you're quite tough. Here is an autographed photo of myself.
Look, it's
me.
And then he tries to kill the big spider, which is alluded to be Norman. And also Gwen.
Yeah. Anyways, episode 4, more people become spider monsters, and it's Harry and Peter versus the world, pretty much.
Yeah, Peter and Harry are fighting through man spiders with help from Anya.
And,
We learn, yeah. Norman is the Spider King, seemingly being the one controlling him. They find a way to partially cure him, but he's not the one actually behind this. It's the Jerker, the Gooner, the Stroker.
yes, the one
The
and
guy who,
only.
the guy who got arrested for experimenting on teenagers. That
It's
guy.
the Jackal. He's the main villain of the season. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck
Fucking
you. It's Jackalwary.
Jackal fans rise up.
$1
I know
jackal
all. I know all two of you are excited for this.
God, I hate
I know,
this guy.
I know the people who made this show fucking popped off in the watching Craven when War in his mansion in the Craven movie.
Okay, it's genuinely insane that in the Craven movie they seem to try to be setting up Miles War. And since the Sony movies aren't actually dead like we thought they were, they're actually trying to set up fucking Jackal as like a big ongoing villain for that series, and it's deranged.
Fucking same as it
Oh
ever
boy,
was.
can't wait for MCU Spider-Man 4 to set up Jackal versus Null. I want to kill
When
myself.
the days go by, let the water hold me down. So then we learned the Jackal, he had already captured Miles, which why Miles is absent for most of this 5-parter.
Yeah. On that topic, the show does something weird where Miles gets introduced in episode 9, and then he shows up in the Craven episode. But then in the Halloween episode, the Blizzard episode, Venom, and Screwball episodes, he's completely absent, which
It feels like
makes me
they
feel.
wanted to just get him introduced early, but didn't have
Yeah,
any ideas for what he would
I
do.
genuinely think they originally planned like at some point he was written to show up after the Screwball episode, right before the Doc Ock one, but then they decided to make him earlier. Like my crackhead theory is that someone at Marvel mentioned that Sony's doing a Miles movie, and that was before Spider-Verse got revealed, so they decided let's bank on that.
Oh god, that would
God.
make sense. Although, that would also kind of. Although, still though, he kind of just doesn't even show up for anything as well. So it's just weird in general.
It is.
Yeah, it is just weird.
Like if you're gonna do Miles and Peter be a game where they're both Spider-Man, at least do that properly, like Insomnia games.
But yeah, they're both Spider-Mans here. We learned that Jackal is trying to do this was Jackal's spider army shit, like the whole thing he wants to take over the city. He's turned everyone except for like Peter, Anya, Harry, and Peter, Anya, Harry,
Miles.
and Miles into spider people.
Yeah.
And
so
they have a plan to cure. They find a plan to cure. They learn that Jackal has like a big fucking bomb, and no. Does Jackal doesn't have a bomb? They create a bomb as like a plan to cure the city with like the anti-serum. And this leads into the single stupidest Hardy's moment of the entire show.
Okay, so for context, the cure involves Peter's DNA because, he's the patient zero, technically. So first, Peter reveals himself to Harry, which makes him relapse again and go, what the fuck, you're Spider-Man? Fuck you.
Even though, from everything that Hardy's has said about Spider-Man, of course he wasn't going to reveal him to you, dipshit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then that's when then they do the cure thing, but then turns out, oh no, it's gonna blow up the Oscorp tower. So Harry's like, no, I need to disable the bomb.
No, I need to preserve my dad's thinly veiled excuse for homeschooling.
Yeah, that's what he says.
It's our legacy. It's the Osborn family legacy, Peter.
Now listen, Peter. We could disable the bomb, or we could have 8 million spider students at fucking.
No fool. We could have the bomb blow up, or we could have 8 million spider students.
There's no reason not to do this. The only reason not to do this is just property damage that could be fixed in a week with Norman Osborn's money.
Anyways, this entire thing has Harry trying to defuse the fucking cure bomb in the top of Osborn Academy because he doesn't want Osborn Academy to blow up.
There's literally no reason to do this. It's not like, oh, this'll kill Peter if he does it, or this'll kill Norman. No, it's literally just property. It's just a building.
And then when it goes off at the end of the episode, it only destroys like the bit of Oz Academy on top of the school, whereas the rest of Oscorp Tower is just fine.
There's literally
Literally.
no reason for this to happen. If it destroyed the entire building, then maybe it would be more understandable, but it's literally just...
And
not even-
Harry acts like Peter just did fucking 9/11 to it.
exactly. It's not even like there's a chance this could go wrong. No,
Like,
it's
come
like...
on, Peter. Come on, Harry. You
Like,
fucking...
he couldn't even have the excuse of, like, Peter, what if this goes wrong and it just blows up or it mutates the spiders further?
Yeah, but like we know the cure works like completely because we see it earlier, and then that makes Harry's argument even stupider.
Like, it feels like drama just for the sake of it. Like, Harry
My
is
legacy! My family's legacy, Peter!
Harry in this show is written like kicking a fucking beehive. There's no reason to do it, but they do it anyway.
They do.
And it just makes Harry just look even fucking dumber.
Oh,
as a
Harry also
result.
learns Peter for sure is Spider-Man at the end of this, and is
Yeah.
also pissed about that.
Honestly, what isn't he pissed about?
But yeah, then there are you'd think it's over, but there are 2 more episodes.
No, we're still not done. So what did we all think of Spider Island? Big recap.
I hate the
Marvel,
show.
Marvel Spider-Man 2017, you have the worst fucking characters.
You have the worst fucking Harry Osborn ever put to media.
You somehow made a worse Harry than fucking the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
God, they did! That Harry is less annoying and more understandable!
He is!
You've somehow made a more detestable character than the fucking Tinkerer from than Spider-Man PS4 Miles Morales.
I still need to play Miles Morales. I think I might be getting it for my birthday this year.
That would be
Yay,
great.
that's a
And then
great game. You should
And
play
then you
it.
can tell and then you can tell me if I have shit taste for not liking who the Tinkerer
And then I
is.
can die online fighting people when I inevitably have a bad take on the Tinkerer.
I will beat
I mean,
the
going
fuck
off
out.
a tangent, I like Tinker and Spider-Man, but in Miles Morales, but I do think the big issue with her as a character is that we never see the downfall between her and Miles versus Doc Ock and Peter. And like even Spider-Man 2 understood this, which is why the first time we see Harry in the game isn't a flashback. So it's done so that way his downfall into Venom is done way better.
Spider-Man 2 also has a pretty good... From what I've seen, Spider-Man 2 also does a kind of good job of that with Miles and Mr. Negative, which I appreciate.
Yeah, they do. I like it. I like his arc there.
Yeah, like I really like the idea that game goes, okay, we know Mr. Negative killed Miles's dad and we never really resolved that. So we're just we're gonna have that arc here and have it like a thing of them both coming to terms with it.
Yeah, I've seen people not like feel like it came out of nowhere, but like I don't think it did because Mr. Negative isn't brought up in Spider-Man Miles Morales because he's in jail. Like he's only brought up in Spider-Man 2 because
he gets out of jail and is obviously kind of remorseful for what he did.
Exactly.
He's
Anyways,
Mr. Not So Negative now.
Man, this is a Dan Slott show. Where the hell is Mr. Negative?
Season 2, I'm not even joking.
God damn it.
Oh, come on, he's not until season 2?
And he's in the Superior arc.
Ah!
With Cloak and Dagger.
Fuck's sake!
Does he do the thing? Does he do the thing in Slott's comics where he inverts Cloak and Dagger to be white and black instead of black and white?
I don't remember that actually.
Yeah, in the Parker Industries era, there's a bit where Mr. Negative uses his powers on Cloak and Dagger, and Cloak becomes white, and Dagger, like, Cloak gets, like, white, glowy powers for his Cloak thing, and Dagger's all light stuff becomes black.
Please don't tell me their skin changes colors as well.
Their skin stays the same. Same.
Okay,
they switch color palettes and are morally corrupted, so he uses them as, like, his minions, and Peter has to snap them out of it.
Okay, you made that sound way worse than it actually was.
Yeah, my bad. Okay. Now that we're done with Spider Island, it's time to talk about the two-parter that ended the series. Well, this ended this first season. The Hobgoblin.
It's
Another one of those things
bullshit.
this show does to piss you off that is slightly different from regular Spider-Man stuff. Peter, fucking Harry and Norman are Hobgoblin, not Green Goblin. Fuck you.
And most importantly,
all
there is
fucking
no Green
shit.
Goblin in this show, like in this universe. Like no, straight up, no one ever calls themselves Green Goblin. And also, the Hobgoblin design is dog shit. He looks like a bug.
And not even like a cool bug. Like, look up Kamen Rider if you want to see a cool bug.
Yeah, he looks like a great value Kamen Rider.
Kamen Rider if he had no fucking sauce.
He looks like great value MCU Taskmaster.
God, he does.
Speaking of designs with no sauce.
Okay. So with by the way, we forgot to mention at the end of the Spider Island 5-parter, when Norman is fully recovered and Harry is wheeling him in a wheelchair up Oz Tower, Norman is just like, "Son, it's not that big a deal. We can rebuild it."
Like, literally, we have more money than everyone in this city combined. It's fine.
And Harry is still pissed.
My legacy!
Our family legacy, Peter! You destroyed it! It's gone! It's completely gone!
Peter, the only legacy I had before this was Hogwarts Legacy, and that game was shit!
Oh my god. Anyways, so Norman just graduates Harry after this, fully confirming our theory that this was that this was a homeschooling scheme.
It's all a homeschooling scheme.
He just automatically graduates him. The school blew up and he can still graduate him.
Yeah, and Harry, and he gives Harry the Hobgoblin things and goes, "Hey son, go kill Spider-Man."
Son, I have a great idea.
Spider-Man fights the Sinister Five. They brainwash him and form the Sinister Six.
Which reminds me, there's a good comic with that concept from the Ultimate Universe. It's called Ultimate Six. It's pretty neat.
It's just really shitty Ultimate Six.
It is,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty certain that. Okay, so one of our friends, mutual friends, has a podcast. It's called Boulder Punch. Check them out; they're great. The co-host there, Alec, has a theory where they'll do Ultimate Six in your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and I feel like that's gonna be done way better than what the show did.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Okay, here we
so
go.
Harry is sent to stop Spider-Man, thinks he's evil, manages to snap Peter out of the mind control, and they kind of forgive each other, maybe?
Oh yeah, also, Doc Ock literally does the, fucking, Sinister Six. I like that name.
Say that again?
Literally. Because straight up.
Like, he says it like, go my Sinister Six, and he's like, that rolls off the tongue way better.
Yeah, it is just that moment from Fanforstic.
This makes me realize Fanforstic would fit in this universe.
It would, and I hate you for saying that.
I hate you so much.
When Disney Fox, the people behind the show started doing concept art for season 4, featuring Miles Teller as Reed Richards in season 4.
Yeah. Anyways, second part is starting off kind of weird with Peter working with Hobgoblin and seemingly all of their issues from most of the past of these episodes being just gone for some reason.
Mom, I want to read Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cecchetto. Son, we have Ultimate Spider-Man at home. Ultimate Spider-Man at home.
But also, Harry keeps having these blackouts that make him go into like a weird goblin alternate personality. It's like the usual thing that used to be the case with Norman.
And I don't think they ever explain why that happens, honestly.
They never did. They don't. And it just goes away at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I thought that was a thing that Norman was doing in order to trick Harry.
Oh, right. Oh, right. That's why. But doesn't Harry still go unconscious at some? Isn't that?
No.
Is it just because of like exhaustion or whatever?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm 99% sure. Norman was like, "Oh, there's my son Harry, who I totally don't despise. Here, son, I made you a bowl of Cheerios, and I totally didn't piss in it with my sleeping gas."
It's like that American Dad bit where every year before they go on vacation, Stan makes the family pancakes that knocks them out and puts them in vacation simulation goo.
I want to go back in the goo.
It's that, but it's Norman giving those pancakes to Harry to knock him out so he could play Hobgoblin.
Yay! Now I get to be Hobgoblin.
Now
So
I'm
the
just
entire setup here
now I'm
is
just
Norman is
wait. Can I say something? Now I'm
Yeah.
just imagining fucking American Dad, except Stan is just Norman Osborn.
Oh my god!
Disney, you want Fox, you want Marvel, you can make this
it happen.
happen.
I need the American Dad Marvel crossover yesterday. It's set in Washington D.C. There's so many Captain America things you could do with that.
Stan becomes Captain America and then quickly learns, hey, wait a minute. No, wait, he becomes Captain America, but at the end of the episode it's revealed he's actually U.S. agent.
Yes, just do the fucking the Captain storyline by Mark Gruenwald, but it's Stan Smith as John Walker.
It writes itself. It literally writes itself.
He gets Principal Lewis as his sidekick, and they have to do that joke again.
Oh god.
For anyone who doesn't know, John Walker, Cap's original sidekick, Lamar Hoskins used the name Bucky because that was like the sidekick of Cap back in World War II.
Oh.
They changed that for the
Writer
MCU,
Mark
but,
writer Mark Gruenwald was at the time unaware that Bucky without a Y is a derogatory term for African Americans.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Dwayne McDuffie told him this, and Gruenwald was apparently just outright horrified that he didn't know this and wrote this into his comic.
And
so
with
McDuffie's consulting, he wrote an issue where Lamar also learns about this and ends up changing his codename and costume to Battlestar.
Yeah, which is what I was gonna say. That's what the MCU just did. They just had him be Battlestar from the start in Falcon.
It makes sense they had him be Battlestar because like Battlestar is just kind of a better name, anyways. So, and it's not a word.
Bucky's right there. He's already alive.
They also just completely eviscerated that. My buddy Ren really loves the Mark Gruenwald, John Walker Cap days. He's really pissed on how the MCU handled Lamar because he's like his favorite part of that entire run. Because like he really likes Lamar as a character, just like he finds him a really fun and interesting voice in the comic, and then in the show, in Falcon Winter Soldier, he just kind of dies.
He does.
Lame.
Anyways,
But yeah, going back on topic, but yeah, there's the whole Thunderbolts. But yeah, Norman is essentially trying to frame Harry against Peter to convince it. Like, what is Norman's plan by doing this again?
Kill Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's his backup plan to kill Spider-Man or whatever. I don't really get it, but
I fucking hate Spider-Man and I fucking hate my son.
It's deeply stupid.
Fuck it. I'm gonna make my son into the next Winter Soldier. Fuck it. Who cares?
God, I despise this version.
Did you already mention how Norman Osborn had he was fucking tinfoil hatting this whole Spider Army thing?
No, we were discussing Harry. Oh wait, Norman was the one tinfoiling the Spider Army. Harry was the you know what else has 8?
Exactly.
Dan Slott has 8 letters.
You know what else has 8, Peter?
Spiders have 8 legs. It's all connected.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together now.
We're excited and it's the crack pipe. God, I love how we were joking about that being Norman at first, and then Harry embraced that completely.
He did.
Harry just completely fucking stole it right out from under Norman.
But yeah, this episode kind of ends with, like, Norman being outed as an imposter hobgoblin. We learn this show's justification for a fucking Hobgoblin fit for Hobgoblin instead of Green Goblin, and it's not only completely stupid, it also flies right in the face of everything we've seen of Harry up until now. Okay, can I explain this?
Yes.
Okay, so Norman, when discussing the idea that Harry might need to consider the fact that Spider-Man has actually turned evil, is a foolish consistency is the Hobgoblin of Little Minds, a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay Self-Reliance. It's essentially a criticism of people who are unwilling to change their beliefs, which is insane to say to Harry, the guy who's been going off on this insane Spider-Man conspiracy theory that he's working with the Jackal for this entire show, and now is starting to believe that Spider-Man is a good guy. Norman is like, no, you're changing your mind. He's a bad guy. You believed that right before, remember?
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea if this was on purpose or not.
I don't think it was. I don't think they were that smart, because the way they wrote Harry implies they just aren't.
It's just why?
It's we found this out, we found that out when we were watching it, and we lost our minds when we learned what it actually meant.
This is like all those people who like, it's literally like when you bring up a quote that's like, oh yeah, this proves my point, and it just completely fucking undermines your entire goddamn argument.
Yeah. Anyways, Norman fights Harry and Peter. They beat Norman. Does Norman fake die again or get sent to prison?
He fake
gets
dies.
sent to hell.
He fake dies again. Okay. He fake dies again. Harry gets promoted to the CEO of Oscorp.
And the funny thing about Norman is he only comes back to the show in one episode in season 3.
Learning that Norman and Harry just basically leave the show after this season, after they've been the majority of its plot, is insane.
Yeah, the only thing that makes sense, that would somewhat make sense, that is still very stupid, is if fucking Disney saw that people were shipping Peter and Harry, because apparently that is quite somewhat popular, like in the show's
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Disney would care enough about people shipping characters from a bad cartoon series.
Yeah, you're right, I know what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I do not understand how people can ship these two fucking idiots.
Maybe they just couldn't afford to get Josh Keaton back.
Honestly, yeah.
They had no budget as it is. They couldn't keep him around for much longer.
They couldn't. That's why Lizard only comes back in season 3 too, because he's your lone fall.
Oh my god. Anyways, okay, we're finally fucking done. Is there anything you guys want to drop before we go into our final thoughts?
I'm gonna look at some season 2 stuff to see if there are any funny things.
I know we're getting Kamala and that she and Peter have a fling, which is kind of weird.
I still hate that you put me into watching this show because it has Superior Spider-Man in it.
Oh yeah, when we first got fooled to watching this, we didn't tell him Superior was in it, and he got pissed when he found out.
I hate you both very much because of it.
Also, around the time we started Screwball, some other friends joined us, including a buddy named Nina, who has her own YouTube channel. We'll link in the description.
Yeah, watch her stuff. She's gonna rank all the death battles.
She was unfathomably angry over the Harry shit. Like I know we sound angry right now, but
she was pissed. And also an important thing to note, she started watching the show with us in the Doc Ock arc.
No, she started with Screwball specifically.
Oh, so she got a taste of quality and then it got taken away from her.
Yeah. She got a taste of Screwball, and then she got to see all the worst of Hardy's Osborn.
Reminder, there was a time that Hardy's was actually like considered, maybe he's actually kind of smart, although at the same time he was also the guy who was making bombs and
we forgot to mention Harry making bombs.
Which
hey,
never
you ever seen SpongeBob? You ever seen SpongeBob? You know that bit about the pies that are actually bombs?
They're from a bomb factory. They're bombs.
Yeah, Harry just makes bombs And it's okay. I think I remember. It turns out they're not
Peter
bombs.
finds them in Harry's like old lab at Horizon and is like, Harry, what the fuck are you making in there? But Harry's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I think it turns out that they're actually to like spread out cures quickly, but turns out they're bombs when they don't have cures. Which like, how do you make that a thing? I have no idea.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I fucking forgot. I don't remember any justification for the bombs.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
I
think
got
Harry ever
something.
did give a justification.
I have a funny thing to mention. In seasons 2 and 3, or 3 episodes in total in both seasons. You know what writer they brought over from comic books to write a
Oh
few of the
god, who
episodes?
was it?
J.M. DeMatteis.
Oh! That's
Yeah,
surprisingly positive. He might have some good episodes.
yeah, we'll see. I haven't seen his episode since 2020, but we'll see.
He
But
wrote Craven's Last Hunt, so that's gotta be something.
yeah, I need to finish that actually. Good comic.
My family's upstairs singing along to Benson Boone at the Grammys.
Benson
Uh,
Coon, more like.
Okay. So, final thoughts time. We got through this stupid fucking first season completely. What is everyone's final what is final numerical score for this show and your reasoning behind it?
Uh,
I know you said numerical, but fuck it, I'm gonna grade it like it's a Sonic score in a game. I'm going with a good old E.
damn.
The shitty E rank music from Unleashed plays.
Yeah,
Exactly. It doesn't even
I- I'm go-
deserve that though.
I'm gonna be a bit kinder and give it a D.
I'm gonna be
I'm
mean as
yeah.
fuck.
I'm gonna say D plus or C minus for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's
I see your
likable
fucking
elements
thing.
of this show, but none of it comes together, and the last 10 or so episodes are a complete clusterfuck.
All of it is shit.
Like, Spider Island has enjoyable moments, but is overall really bad due to the Harry shit. And before that, Rise of Doc Ock is just insufferable throughout. I just
Yeah.
wish this show was able to kind of... It's ironic that we started this whole thing where you mentioned that this was apparently a back-to-basics Spider-Man show, where the entire thing that it gets wrong is that it's not back to basics at all.
It's not.
It has the same exact base problem as Ultimate Spider-Man, but in a different way, where instead of superhero buddies, he has science buddies.
Yup.
And they are all insufferable.
Like,
At
God, they
least
just repeat it. It's like just the same problem with a different coat of paint.
and it's funny because I wanna. Okay, so has everyone here seen Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, like the first 2 episodes yet?
I have
I
not,
haven't.
but I don't really care about spoilers, so you can tell me.
What
Same.
about you, fool? Okay, so I have seen it. So here are my quick thoughts on it. It's pretty good. And something funny. So in the second episode, Peter becomes an intern at Oscorp, and there are a few characters there. One of them is Amadeus Cho, who if you don't know him in the comics, he's the totally awesome Hulk.
Before that, he was Hercules' sidekick during the Greg Pak and Fred Von Lente days.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's neat.
Yeah,
but yeah,
interestingly enough, Amadeus has a surprising level of connectivity to Spider-Man. Do you want me to tell you how that is?
oh yeah, is it that he's in Ultimate Spider-Man?
No. Amadeus made his debut when Marvel in the 2000s decided to revive Amazing Fantasy as an anthology book with introducing brand new superhero characters.
Oh yeah, because that's where Anya got introduced, right?
And specifically, Amadeus was introduced in Amazing Fantasy issue 15 of this series, which was like
that's fun.
introducing a bunch of characters. You all get to decide who becomes the new star in the Marvel universe, and Amadeus won by a landslide.
Oh, that's nice.
Because like
That's
everyone read his story, were like, this is just easily the best one.
That's
So
neat.
Amadeus has a surprising level of connectivity to Peter, so it's awesome seeing him in Your Friendly Neighborhood.
But yeah, Let me check I'm just gonna check the cast because I don't remember every character. I
He's-
just remember
He's played by
Amadeus.
Sun Jin Woo from Solo Leveling.
And most importantly, Makoto Yuki from Persona 3 Reload.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alex Lee for that one photo of him as Makoto where he's shoving the gun in his mouth. That's an awesome photo.
God! Okay, you better put that in the video when we edit this, Bernardo.
I'll try.
But
yeah,
love what so go back to your friendly neighborhood, what you were talking about with it.
Yeah, at some point, Peter goes to Oscorp where there's Amadeus Cho, Gian Foucault, and Asha, which are like scientists at Oscorp, and they barely show up, but they don't make me want to kill myself, unlike this show's cast, which is a major improvement, which is hilarious because it's not even the show's main focus.
Huh.
They outdid the sciencey parts in terms of quality writing without it being the main focus of the show, where the sciencey stuff was the main focus. I am losing my mind.
Interesting.
But yeah, Your Friendly Neighborhood's pretty good. I'm excited to see the other episodes.
Hudson Fame's watching the wokest Spider-Man show ever made. I'm glad this isn't woke.
Does he know?
Does he know?
He doesn't.
Okay, but yeah. Overall level grades, Fool gave it an E, Bernardo gave it a D, and I gave it a D plus C minus. My overall take, as I said, my overall take is there's good in it, but it doesn't come together.
If you want numerical ranking, it's 0.
Jesus.
Okay. My numerical ranking. I'll try and make it. I think it's a 2 out of 5. I'd say.
A 2 out of 5 is a good rating for it, honestly.
There's only one thing I could think of where it's a Spider-Man related thing and it goes even lower than 0 or E.
I know what that is, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a future episode.
I do not want to talk about a future episode. I really do not want to talk about it.
Do you think we're good to wrap up, or is there anything else we want to talk about?
I think we're good to wrap up.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening to our review of Spider-Man 2017 Season 1. We suffered for your sake, and we all hope you enjoyed this video. Be nice to yourself right now. We know it's rough times, so we hope we could give you a little bit of enjoyment at the moment. And if you want more dumb podcast stuff from us, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
Better do it, or else I'm not going to be here next episode. You better do it.
Yeah, you better do it.
You want Fool to go off on Superior next episode, don't you?
No, please don't subscribe. Don't break my neck. Please do not comment.
Good night, everyone.
Let's insert that photo of John Cena about to kill Justin Bieber. Put that in.
Yes.